Well, got the bottom of this guard ready. Just got to make the patch up. I'll do that tomorrow. It's not as bad as the other side, so that's a bit of a win. I'll have to weld these holes here. I'll paint some of that rust stuff on here overnight. It actually wasn't that bad in here. I'm pretty happy with that. So I didn't have to take the guard bottom completely off. Now back here, I've cut that out. This is the bit here I've got to fix. I'm going to fix that and put it back on. Normally you wouldn't leave square edges there. This is not something you do, but I couldn't get in there, so I can't help that. They're staying. To see how I've rounded those edges, it makes it welds back better. Anyway, that's that section. I'm going to weld that up, then paint it. Well, probably whatever. I'll fix that up. But there's the first patch. It goes in there. Actually fits in quite neat once you get it into position. Plug welded on the bottom. I'm going to put a plug weld there into there. It fits in quite good. Anyway, that's done. Now I've got to fix that back bit. That's all got to be dressed up everywhere. But I just want to get these patches done at the moment and fix this and paint it. Right, weld it up in here. Cleaned it again. I've painted that rust protection, rust converter stuff in there again. I'll paint that in the morning, then put the patch in. Same thing at the back here. That's all got to be welded up around here, straightened. Needs more straightening. There's a couple of little bits here there that need welding. This in here. Anyway, it's coming along. There's that patch there ready to go back in. Yeah, a little bit tricky welding the back end because I had to cut that bit out with the grinder, so it'll be right. I'll just take my time. I find with this real thin stuff, you just got to hold the gun further away than you normally would. Rust converter dry overnight, and then I'll just paint primer and some of that just scrap grey paint I've got there, and I'll put that patch on. Finally get all welding done on this body tomorrow, hopefully. That ground down, you'll slap a bit of fill there. Stuff here's done, that edge is done, and there's done. Just going to whack a little bit of filler on that, and I've got to knock off. I can't work on this tomorrow. There's that gap there now. Before, this thing was flared out, that's why I had to redo this. I'm going to give this another couple more coats of primer, but that's turned out quite good. All this gap, that's not bolted on. The gaps are nice. Gap here. I'm thinking of just sanding this edge down a little bit and maybe give that a bit more, give that another coat of primer along here. There's just one or two bits that might need a little bit of, one or two little pinholes here, there somewhere. I've just got to refine them. There's one there. Hardly any actually. But what I'm going to do today, it's Sunday here. I'm going to sand that, and then this part of the panel will be done. Even that's quite good. This edge isn't even too bad. So it's probably one of the better edges. Still needs a little bit, but not much. That's been welded, but when I welded that, it blew out. Like that little pinhole, like the size of, I don't know, the size of a punch or something. It just blew out. It's just pretty ridiculous. Anyway, what you're going to do is tap down these highs. But what I like to do, I like to use a little punch, and you hit it with a hammer. It gives you a good little, you can really direct where you want to hit the high spots down. It's not a bad trick if you ever want to try that. And there's a little high spot just here under the primer. So I'm going to hit that down. I might even put a little bit of that 2-pack bog there. But overall, it's pretty damn good. I'm pretty happy with it. You just spend that extra bit of time on it, and you know, it works out. I think I'm definitely going to be making a roll bar for this car. I'll probably put some plate here somewhere, make something strong. I'm just thinking of using some square tube, maybe, I don't know, 100 by 50, not square, rectangle. And just having two square things coming up to just below the height of the roof, and having some bracing and stuff, because You don't want to flip one of these things and not have a roll bar. It's not good. I've seen what happens to people that work on their hot rod and take it out for a Sunday spin and flip it, and they get killed. I've actually seen that happen. You can see it on that angle. You can see there's a line through here, swage line, and it goes in like that. The way it was before, that was down smooth, and you couldn't see that. It was all bogged. Not very well. I've sanded that whole thing down, 100% spotless, no rust anywhere. Decided to just give the whole thing a flick of bog, and I'll sand that off. That's it. It's the last piece. There's that sanded. I've just wiped it a little bit up in this edge. A little bit more here. It's pretty much done. Well, that's getting close now. Been a pretty big job doing this car, but it doesn't do it by itself. You just got to keep going. Right, I've just given that another go. It pretty much did need a bit of a go right over, really. Anyway, it's got that now. But it's all done. I'm just about to put the putty on it. I'm going to give that another couple of coats. So I did have to fix this part here. This was flared out and it looked weird over here. It was sitting high here and it just wasn't right. So I had to heat that up. And anyway, I'm just about to spray the putty on it. First coat. Actually looks pretty damn good. Give that another couple of coats. That came up really good, considering that thing should have been just crushed. In fact, it was crushed. You know, this thing looks great. This looks really good. I'm more than happy with that. Another thing, if you're ever using this acrylic lacquer, I know not many people do use it, allow the stuff to flash off for at least 10 minutes between coats. If you put that stuff on too soon, and you put it on, just too wet too soon, you get really fine pinholes in it, and it'll come through in your finished coat. You just can't get them out. So you've got to make sure you just allow that to just go off a bit, and then you put your next coat on. There's the boot lid all done. I must admit that came out good. For what it was, that came out fantastic. Anyway, here's the last panel done. It's all done, the whole car. And I am happy. I'm bloody happy I don't have to work on that anymore. The doors line up good. It hasn't got the rubber, so it should sit about there. You come up great. The whole thing looks mint. The whole back of it, everything, it just looks good. Once it's all been blocked down, puttied, re-primed, blocked down again, all painted properly, it's just going to look like one of them little Hondas. There it is, the back panel's done, all that's done, the entire back of it's done, the side's all done. Doors line up great, bonnet lines up good, front's all done, looks good. This other side, I'll just throw the boot lid on. They're not bolted down, neither's the bonnet. There it is with the boot lid on. The gap would be like that. It lines up quite good. Pretty happy with the whole thing. Alright, I want to thank everyone for looking at the videos and stuff. Next thing we'll be doing, I'll take all the bolts out of the floor that hold it to the chassis. I'm going to make up a little thing that it can lift the body off and sit it onto. And then we can work on the chassis and the engine, get it everything good. So that'll be the next stage. This will be all just sitting for a while now and let that putty harden up. It's not like 2-pack, which is pretty much ready to go. It's best to let this stuff sit for a while. And like, I'm not painting it now till summer anyway. It's too cold. I don't have a spray booth. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching the videos, and pretty soon I'll be pull the body off and go through the next stage. We'll get this little car going. Thanks very much.